cover this. I talked about how disappointed I was with the situation that's been going on with Candace Owens and Turning Point USA. Supposed to be focused on continuing Charlie Kirk's legacy, supposed to be focused on keeping the conversation moving forward and the quest for truth. That's what Candace Owens is saying that she's trying to do. And Turning Point USA, I'm gonna be honest, they're not doing a great job of continuing Charlie's legacy, in my opinion, because we haven't seen anything near the impact that Charlie Kirk had on his own by himself without Turning Point USA that Turning Point is having right now. So things escalated. Candace Owens called out Turning Point USA again. Turning Point USA got sick of it. And we talked about in the last video, they said, fine, Candace, here's what we're going to do. And I'm going to read it directly from Blake Neff. This is what he said. The live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest. We will be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday still holds to Candace Owens. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of today. Now, a lot of people were saying Candace was backtracking here because Candace Owens is going to respond, and we're going to get into the response here. Earlier, Candace Owens said yesterday when she responded to that invitation, she said, hey, we can do this any place, anytime, whenever y'all want to do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. We could do it even today. We could do it tomorrow if you wanted, right? And now people are saying Candace Owens backtracked, but did she really? Let's carefully read what Candace Owens said in her response to this direct invitation on X, which was kind of weird in the first place. She says, it's kind of weird you didn't email or call me about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation out at midnight, which he did. If you go back and you look at the timestamp, this was tweeted and edited at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kind of crazy. She also says, why am I learning about this on X? And people are saying, oh, here she goes. She's about to back out. Candace Owens isn't sticking to her word. But listen to what she says next. December 15th does not work in person at 2 p.m. is also a lateral time to when I do my podcast live every day, which you know. But what does she say? I will happily cancel my daily podcast and join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th, if that works for you on your end. Let's lock in. Candace said, listen, I'm tired of the games. She's sick of the games. She wants the truth to come out. And she said, you know what? You guys, not only did you not send me a direct invitation, you didn't ask me if I would be available. Although I said, hey, we could do this anytime, any place, fine. But you know what? Besides all of that, go ahead. Let's set it up. I'll be there virtually. Shouldn't be a big deal. Whether I was there in person, whether I was there virtually, it should be fine, right? Go ahead and set it up. I'll be there. You guys good to go? Well, she had one more thing that she wanted to say in regards to that, and I want to read it here before we get to Turning Point's response. Candace says, I will also add that I am happy to jump on Charlie's show any day before then virtually as well. I was serious when I said we could do it today even. Virtually, I can make it happen pretty much any day because it's easier to move things around with the kids and find someone to sub for my morning homeschooling. She's ready to go. So I don't know why people are saying Candace is trying to get out of this, because she said, you know what? I can't make it in person. That's fine. I didn't say I would go to you in person anytime. I said, we can do this anytime. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Well, what does Turning Point have to say in response to this? This is where things start to get weird. Blake Neff, he says, yesterday, we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to the allegations and accusations you have made, Candace. We've decided that response will be delivered during a live stream on December 15th. Now, this is the part where it gets weird. Blake says, thank you for your response and letting us know you will not be joining the in-person conversation. We will be proceeding without you. So let me get this straight. Candace Owens says, I can't be there in person, but I'll still be there. Just set me up on the screen. We can have this conversation virtually. You guys have done it before. You do it all the time. It shouldn't be a big deal. Blake at Turning Point USA says, nope. If you can't come, we're not doing it at all. We're not going to make it happen. You're not coming. And this is just so strange of a response, because Candace said she's going to be able to make it work, even though you guys just gave her a last minute notice. And who knows, maybe she would have been able to move some things around. Very strange indeed. Of course, Candace Owens had to respond to that. And she said, it has been decided by the public that the best response for this for my team is to live stream your live stream and provide commentary. Since you already picked our regular podcasting time, we look forward to providing live responses to your once and for all answers. So this is, again, super lame. And shame on this guy, Blake. I haven't followed him much, so shame on this guy, Blake from Turning Point, for taking this response. I think this is a terrible look for Turning Point, and it seems like they have something to hide. Something as simple as just getting Candace on a virtual platform, and she said she would be there, is weird. Why does she have to be there in person? That's the thing that's even more weird and seems sketchy. Basically, they said, we're not going to have you on the platform unless you show up in person. And then we have a lot of responses and a lot of people who did not feel this looked well for Turning Point USA, because there was a back and forth that Blake had between someone on X. Jimmy Dore said, wow, I knew you'd pull something, and here it is. Everyone, including you, shows that's not how you book a guest on the show. You're supposed to contact them and find a mutually agreeable date and time. You don't publicly announce the date before it's confirmed. It's transparent. It's transparently obvious what you're doing here, but you're all shady as F, including the pastors you're associated with. Nice ratio, by the way. Yeah, he got ratioed like crazy. And he says, of course, this isn't how you book a guest. Candace isn't a guest. Dang. We're not booking a guest and never said we were. We are delivering a response to several months of escalating harassment and lies. She was given the opportunity to join and decline. That is a lie. That's a blatant lie. Candace said she would be there, Blake. I don't understand why they're choosing to go this way, why they're choosing to take this route, but this is a really bad look for Turning Point USA. And a lot of the supporters are seeing this. They're dodging Candace Owens and her questions, and they're going to selectively respond to what Candace said, not give an opportunity to respond back. Candace doesn't lose either way. I don't think she would. I don't blame her for not wanting to be there in person. And even if she were to be there in person, she's still going to continue to do what she's going to do. And I don't think they could handle it. I think this would have been epic. And I had the feeling that this wasn't going to happen in the first place. Also, a little side note that a lot of people missed is Candace Owens and her husband, specifically her husband's birthday, is on December 15th. What? Her husband's birthday is on December 15th. Candace Owens didn't mention this, but it's weird that they would pick that date. I guess it just lined up. It just happened to line up with the Marifest, and they wanted to do this meeting. They wanted to do this event on Candace's husband's birthday. How could you miss that? Let's hear from Candace herself on what she had to say about Turning Point and the way they set this up, which doesn't look great. Why did they want to have her in person so bad? I would be skeptical myself.
Smartest person, and nobody should question Blake. Now, it was a lot. Like they're telling us everything he said the night before, except for when he texted you guys and said that he thought they were going to kill him. Can we get to that part? Okay, we get it. Mikey's amazing. Blake Neff's the smartest dude we know. It's right here in the Bible. Can we get to the part of the evening before when Charlie said they are going to kill him, which maybe took place after all of that, all of the compliments that were paid? Guys, please stop. It's so fake and gay. It hurts me. It hurts me. It physically is hurting me. The level of fakeness and gayness that we are reaching at Turning Point USA is starting to make me go, ow. Okay? Please, I'm asking nicely. Can you give us something authentic? Because that's not going to cut it. That's just not going to cut it. How dare you question the ghost of Charlie Kirk? Are you suggesting that Charlie could have possibly not had good judgment? Am I suggesting that I've maybe watched a lot of hours of IDTV and it seems like, yeah, it's a kind of a common theme that when people die, you should question the people closest to them? Actually, yeah, I am suggesting that it's like a very high percentage of murders that are committed by somebody else that they know. I think it's like north of 95% of murders. And no matter how many adjectives you assign to people at Turning Point USA, we're not going to accept this narrative, okay? We're not going to accept this narrative, especially when you're lying and you won't tell us the relevant portions. Who did he think was going to kill him? Andrew Colvett? Can you tell us, Andrew? Can you tell us, Blake Neff? Can you tell us, Mikey McCoy? Or was he just full of fluff? Just full of fluff at the end. Really just wanted Josh Hammer's book to be sold. You're bad at this. You want to know why you're bad at this? Because you're inauthentic. That's why. You're inauthentic. If you start telling the truth, you won't struggle with this issue. Nobody accepts this, okay?
Wow, this is getting really bad. Candace Owens also took to her Instagram story and had this to say. I'm not going to read the text. I'll just let Candace say it herself. Check it out.
An ultimatum, I don't know, an invitation, gave me 24 hours to respond to a tweet that they sent at midnight. Very strange. Again, everything just seems to be very strange and unnecessary that is coming out of Turning Point USA. We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. We are going to discuss that. Plus, I have an amazingly odd update regarding the Egyptian planes, and it feels very significant. So we're going to jump back into that storyline. It seems to be the Egyptian planes that they are unnecessarily freaking out about. So that's definitely going to be the key that unlocks everything. So Turning Point issued
So we have all that, and it keeps going. People, especially people close to Turning Point USA, are still perpetuating these lies that Candace Owens declined. She didn't decline. She said we can do it anytime, any place. That is true. That's what we have the internet for. The internet, you can literally do anything at any time in any place. So she could be there in Phoenix on the 15th and not be there. We've got Graham Allen said, breaking, Candace Owens just backed out of the in-person debate presented by Turning Point USA. Well, it was never a debate in the first place. This was a question and answer session, as I called it. And then, of course, this person got community noted, and the community note says, Candace did not back out of the debate, but offered to participate virtually. What's the issue, Turning Point? Why can't Candace participate virtually? It should be that simple. If she says, yeah, I'll be there on Zoom, I can't be there in person, they say, no, you need to be here in person. What? Why? Why does she need to be there in person? It doesn't make any sense. And then Candace also had this to say. Or
how many adjectives you assign to people at Turning Point USA, we're not going to accept this narrative, okay? We're not going to accept this narrative, especially when you're lying and you won't tell us the relevant portions. Who did he think was going to kill him? Andrew Colvett? Can you tell us, Andrew? Can you tell us, Blake Neff? Can you tell us, Mikey McCoy? Or was he just full of fluff? Just full of fluff at the end. Really just wanted Josh Hammer's book to be sold.
So last but not least, a lot of responses we're hearing. It's not good. And it's not a great look for Turning Point USA. And I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. Because this is what someone had to say. Shout out to MJ Truth Ultra. And I think he makes a great point. He says, yeah, this stinks so bad. After Candace Owens accepted the debate challenge, I don't think it was a debate challenge, Blake Neff demands that Candace Owens comes to Phoenix in 11 days and demands an answer by the end of the day, which was weird. I'm not even in Candace Owens' shoes, and I wouldn't go to that ish. Do it virtually. This does not look good for Turning Point USA. And then we have the quote from Blake Neff saying, well, Candace, I guess you're not coming because you won't do it the way we want to. Super weird. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat. In the next video, we're going to hear from Candace herself. Obviously, we've heard certain clips absolutely go off on how this was set up. Not a great look for Turning Point USA. What are they hiding? I have to wait and see.